Elena gripped the carriage seat as it lurched toward the Nightshade territories. At 23, she'd already been married and widowed, and now her family was sending her north as a calculated insult to the Wolf King who'd requested a bride from House Thornfield. "A widow," her cousin had sneered. "Let's see how the beast reacts to our leftovers instead of a virgin bride." Elena had no say in it. She never did. Her first husband, Lord Marcus, had been 47 when he married her at 17. Cold, controlling, more interested in her family's land than in her. For 5 years she'd been told she was defective, barren, worthless because she couldn't give him an heir. When he fell from his horse and died, she'd felt guilty for the relief that flooded through her. That freedom lasted exactly 4 months. The carriage stopped at sunset before a fortress of black stone that seemed to grow from the mountain itself. Guards helped her down, and she stood in the courtyard trying not to shake as curious eyes assessed her. "I am Gareth, steward of Shadow Peak Keep," an older man said formally. "You are the bride from House Thornfield?" "I am Elena Thornfield, though I should clarify, I'm widowed. My family sent me instead of my cousin Arya. Better to be honest now. I understand this is an insult to your king, and I apologize." Understanding flickered in Gareth's eyes. "His Majesty will want to meet you this way." The great hall was warmer than she'd expected, with fires burning and tapestries softening the stone. A man stood by the fireplace, his back to them. "Your Majesty," Gareth said, "the bride from House Thornfield has arrived." He turned and Elena's breath caught. King Rowan was perhaps in his mid-30s, with dark hair and striking gold eyes that seemed to glow in the firelight. Tall, powerfully built, handsome in a dangerous way. Nothing like the monster her family described. Those golden eyes fixed on her with an intensity that made her feel exposed. "You're Elena Thornfield," he said, his voice deep and controlled. "Yes, Your Majesty." "And you're a widow." Here it came. The rejection. The anger. Elena lifted her chin. "Yes. My husband died 10 months ago. My family sent me in place of my cousin, who was originally intended as your bride. I understand this is not what you expected." Rowan moved closer, studying her. Elena forced herself not to step back. She'd learned with Marcus that showing fear only made things worse. "How old were you when you married?" 17, Your Majesty." "And your husband?" 47. Something dangerous flickered in those gold eyes. "Was he kind to you?" No one had ever asked that. No one had ever cared. "That's not relevant, Your Majesty. My family sent me as an insult. You have every right to send me back." "You didn't answer my question." Elena met his gaze, saw something there that looked like genuine concern, and made a decision to be honest. No, he was not kind. Rowan's jaw tightened. He turned to Gareth. "Prepare. The Queen's chambers. The finest rooms. And send for the seamstress. Our new queen will need a proper wardrobe." Elena stared. "I'm sorry, what?" "The Queen's chambers. You'll be staying in them?" "Your Majesty, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm not a suitable bride. I'm widowed. I'm being offered as an insult. My family expects you to reject me." "I'm not rejecting you." His voice was firm. "You're exactly what I've been waiting for." "That's not possible. I'm used goods. I failed to give my first husband heirs. I have no value." "Is that what your family told you? It's the truth." "It's not." He moved even closer, and Elena had to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. "You're not used goods. You're a woman who survived a difficult marriage to a man who didn't deserve you. You're strong and honest. Those are the qualities I want in a queen. The fact that you've been married before doesn't diminish your value. It proves your strength." Elena didn't know what to say. Kings didn't want widows. They wanted virgins, political alliances, untouched brides. "I don't understand." "You will in time." Rowan glanced at Gareth. "Show her to her rooms. Tomorrow we'll talk more." He left before Elena could respond. The Queen's chambers were breathtaking. A massive bedroom, a sitting room with plush furniture, a private bath, windows overlooking endless forests. Luxury Elena had never experienced, even in her first marriage. "These rooms have been empty for 25 years, Gareth said with barely concealed amusement. "Since King Rowan's mother died. Rest tonight. Things will make more sense in the morning." But nothing made sense. Rowan should have been furious, should have sent her back in disgrace. Instead, he'd welcomed her, called her exactly what he'd been waiting for. As Elena lay in the enormous bed that night, she couldn't stop remembering the way Rowan had looked at her. Not with disgust or dismissal, but with something that looked almost like recognition. She wouldn't let herself hope it was real. Hope was dangerous. The next morning, a servant brought breakfast and a message that King Rowan wanted to meet her in the library. He was already there, reading by a window. He stood when she entered. "Did you sleep well?" "Yes, thank you." "Good. Sit, please. We need to talk." He took the chair across from her, close but not crowding her space. "I know you're confused about yesterday. Let me explain. Do you know anything about wolf-mate bonds?" "Only that wolves believe in fated mates. True matches chosen by fate." "Exactly. When a wolf meets their true mate, they know instantly. The bond is undeniable." He leaned forward. "When you stepped out of that carriage yesterday, when I saw you for the first time, I knew. You're my mate, Elena. My true mate. The one I've been waiting my entire life to find." Elena stared. "That's not possible." "Why not?" "Because I'm nobody. I'm a failed widow my family wanted to dispose of. Fate doesn't choose people like me for kings. Fate doesn't care about human politics or your family's opinion. It cares about souls. And my soul recognized yours the moment we met. But you don't know me. Then let me get to know you. Tell me about yourself. Not the facts your family decided mattered. Tell me who you really are." No one had ever asked. Marcus certainly hadn't cared. Her family saw her as a disappointment. "I don't know," she admitted. "I was raised to be a political bride, married at 17 to serve my family's interests. I spent 5 years trying to be what Marcus wanted, and failing. I don't know who I'm supposed to be." "You're supposed to be yourself, that's all I want." "I don't know who that is." Rowan's expression softened. "Then we'll figure it out together. You have time here, Elena. Time to discover who you are without pressure or expectations. I'm not going to force you into marriage immediately. Take your time, get to know me, then decide if you want this." "You're giving me a choice?" "Of course. The mate bond means we're meant to be together, but I won't force you. You've been forced enough in your life." Elena felt tears prick her eyes. "Why are you being kind to me?" "Because you deserve kindness. Because your family sent you here expecting me to reject you, to punish you for their insult. And I refuse to be part of their cruelty." His voice turned to steel. "They thought they could insult me and hurt you at the same time. Instead, they gave me exactly what I wanted and freed you from their control. That must drive them insane." Despite everything, Elena felt a small smile. The idea of her cousin's fury when he learned his plan backfired was deeply satisfying. Over the following weeks, Rowan kept his word. He courted her carefully, showing her the castle, introducing her to his people. Everyone welcomed her warmly, and Elena realized they genuinely liked their king. One afternoon, he took her to the training yards. She watched him spar with his second-in-command, moving with fluid, inhuman grace. When the match ended, both men were grinning. "You fight well," Elena observed. "I should. I've been doing it for 300 years. At her surprised look, he smiled. "Wolves age slowly. I'm actually 312. Does that bother you?" Elena thought about it. Marcus was only 30 years older than me, and he was cruel. You're 300 years older, and you've been kinder to me in weeks than he was in 5 years. Age doesn't seem to be the relevant factor." Rowan laughed, genuine and delighted. Well reasoned. He led her to the kennels where wolf pups tumbled over each other. These are orphaned cubs we're raising. Their mother was killed by hunters. Would you like to help care for them? I'd love that. Elena knelt, and one bold pup came to sniff her hand before licking her chin. She laughed, the sound surprising her. When was the last time she'd laughed freely? Rowan was watching her with soft eyes. That's the first time I've heard you laugh. I haven't had much reason to laugh in recent years. Then I'll make it my mission to give you reasons. And he did. He made terrible puns that were so bad they became funny. He told stories about mishaps from his long life that had her giggling despite herself. One evening at dinner, he told her about accidentally shifting during a treaty negotiation 50 years ago. There I was, completely naked in the middle of the council chamber with 3 shocked ambassadors staring at me. I had to pretend it was an intentional power display, rather than admit I'd been startled by a mouse. Elena laughed so hard she nearly choked on her wine. These moments of ease were interspersed with deeper conversations. Rowan asked about her childhood, her interests, her thoughts on politics and philosophy. He listened with genuine interest. What did you want to be? He asked one day. Before your family married you off. I liked learning, reading. I wanted to study at the university, but noble girls don't do that. That's ridiculous. Intelligence should be cultivated regardless of gender. He pulled a book from the shelf. Take this. Read it. Tell me what you think. No one had ever valued her mind before. My library is yours, he said. Read anything you want. If there's a subject you're interested in and we don't have books on it, I'll send for them. Rowan also invited her to sit in on council meetings, explaining the context so she could follow along. What do you think? He'd ask. How would you handle this? At first, Elena was hesitant, but Rowan genuinely wanted her input. Gradually, she became more confident. Her suggestions were often practical and compassionate. You'd make an excellent queen, Gareth told her after one meeting. Slowly, carefully, Elena began to trust. Began to believe this might be real. Rowan was nothing like Marcus. He listened when she spoke, valued her mind, never raised his voice in anger. When she flinched at sudden movements, he made his actions slower. When she tensed at raised voices, he moderated his tone. He was patient with her fears. 3 weeks after her arrival, Elena woke from a nightmare about Marcus, gasping and disoriented. A knock came at her door. Elena, I heard you cry out. Are you all right? She opened the door. Rowan stood in the hallway, clearly having just woken. Nightmare, she said shortly. About him? She nodded. May I come in? Just to talk. We can leave the door open. They sat in her sitting room, and Elena found herself talking about Marcus in detail, about the criticisms, the coldness, about feeling like a failure every day. You don't have to feel guilty for being relieved that pain ended, Rowan said gently. He made you miserable. Of course you were glad when it stopped. But I was his wife. I should have mourned him. Why? He gave you nothing worth mourning. He was cruel to you, Elena. You don't owe his memory false grief. The permission to feel what she felt without guilt was liberating. Thank you for understanding. Always, whenever you need to talk, I'm here. He proved it over the following weeks. When she had bad nights, he'd sit with her until she felt calm, never expecting anything. Tell me about your first marriage, he said one evening in the gardens. Not if you don't want to, but I think it might help me understand. Elena was quiet for a long moment. Marcus made it clear from our wedding night that I was a duty, not a desire. He came to my rooms twice a month for the first 2 years. It was quick and cold. When I didn't conceive, he blamed me, called me useless, barren. But you were barely more than a child. I was his wife. It was my duty. You were 17. Your body wasn't even fully developed. And conception depends on both partners. He was older, probably less fertile. But it was easier to blame you. Elena stopped walking, staring at him. You don't think it was my fault? Of course not. Young women often take time to conceive, especially in stressful situations. Your body probably sensed it wasn't safe to carry a child. I never thought of it that way. Everyone just assumed I was broken. You're not broken. You're a survivor. Tears filled Elena's eyes. No one had ever said that before. Rowan gently wiped away a tear. I'm sorry for what he did to you. But Elena, I swear that's not what it would be with me. I want a partner, not a duty. I want someone I can talk to, laugh with, build a life with. And I want you to want me too, not just endure me. I don't know how to want someone. I only know how to endure. Then we'll learn together. A month after Elena arrived, a messenger came from House Thornfield, demanding to know why King Rowan hadn't sent back their defective daughter in disgrace. Rowan read the letter in front of his council with Elena present. Then he looked at her. What would you like me to say to them? You're asking me? It's your family. Your choice. Elena thought about her cousin's sneer when he'd announced she was being sent north. Thought about years of being made to feel worthless. Tell them, she said slowly, that their insult was received as the gift it truly was. That you're grateful they sent me instead of my cousin, and that any future correspondence should be addressed to me as your queen. Rowan's smile was brilliant. You're sure? I'm sure. If you're still willing to have me. Willing? Elena, I've been waiting for you my entire life. I'd marry you tomorrow if you were ready. I need a little more time, but not much. You've shown me what kindness looks like. I want to try. I want to build something real with you. Then we will? Together? The response Rowan sent to House Thornfield was everything Elena hoped for. Formal, polite, and devastating. He thanked them profusely for sending Elena, explained she was everything he'd hoped for in a mate, and informed them the wedding would take place within 6 weeks. The fury from House Thornfield was immediate. Letters arrived demanding Elena's return, threatening political consequences. Rowan burned each one. They can't hurt you anymore, he told Elena. You're under my protection now. They have no power here. 6 weeks later, Elena stood in the great hall, wearing a dress of deep sapphire silk, her hair arranged with white flowers. She looked like a queen. She felt like one. Rowan stood at the altar, and the look in his eyes was everything she'd never had with Marcus. Love, desire, respect, partnership. When she reached him, he took her hands. Are you ready? I'm ready. They exchanged vows, promising partnership and loyalty. When the priest declared them married, Rowan kissed her, and it was nothing like the cold duty of her first wedding night. This was warmth and promise, and the beginning of something real. Later in their chambers, Rowan was careful with her, gentle and patient. We don't have to tonight if you're not ready. I'm ready. I want this. I want you. Tell me if anything feels wrong. I'll stop immediately. But there was nothing like before. Rowan made love to her like she was precious, like she mattered, like he genuinely desired her. He asked what she liked, adjusted when she tensed, made sure she felt good. It was a revelation, discovering that physical intimacy could be something she wanted instead of something she endured. Afterwards, lying in his arms, Elena felt tears on her face, happy tears. Are you all right? Rowan asked, concerned. I'm perfect. I just never knew it could be like that. Like I mattered. You are treasure. The most valuable thing I've ever been given. Your family thought they were punishing us both. Instead, they gave me the greatest gift of my life, and freed you from them. I'll never have to go back. Never. You're mine, and I'm yours. And we're going to build something beautiful together. Years later, when people asked how King Rowan had chosen his queen, the story always brought smiles. House Thornfield had sent their widowed daughter as an insult, expecting the Wolf King to reject her in fury. Instead, he'd welcomed her as his fated mate. The fury from House Thornfield had been legendary. They'd tried everything to invalidate the marriage. None of it worked. Elena flourished. The the frightened widow who'd arrived expecting punishment became a beloved queen. She was kind to the people, wise in counsel, deeply loved by her husband. She worked with women in difficult marriages, helped widows find new lives, championed those society dismissed as worthless. She gave Rowan 3 children, much to House Thornfield's fury. The conception issues that had plagued her first marriage disappeared entirely. Turned out she wasn't barren at all. She'd just been in a horrible situation with a cruel man who'd blamed her for his own failures. "Do you ever regret it?" Rowan asked one evening as they watched their children play. "That your first marriage was so terrible?" "I regret the suffering, but not the path that led me here. If I hadn't been widowed, my family never would have sent me north. I'd never have met you. Your family still hasn't forgiven me for accepting you. Good. They thought they were being so clever, sending the worthless widow to insult the Beast King. Instead, they gave you your mate and gave me my freedom. I hope it haunts them forever." "Vindictive," Rowan said approvingly. "I love that about you. You love everything about me. True, but especially your vindictive side." Elena laughed and pulled him close. "I love you. My mate, my husband, my king. The man who saw treasure where everyone else saw trash. I love you, too. My queen, my partner, my everything." And they lived that way for many years, proving every day that House Thornfield's punishment had been the greatest gift either could have received. That fate had a sense of humor. That sometimes the best revenge was simply living well with the person you love, while your enemies choked on their own bitterness. The widow they'd discarded became a queen. The insult they'd sent became a love story. And the Wolf King they'd meant to humiliate became the happiest man in 5 kingdoms, all because they'd been stupid enough to send him exactly what he'd been waiting for.